Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your Cosmic Homegirl, and I'm doing a weekly forecast for all of us, a general forecast for May 12th, 2019 until May 19th of 2019. So this is for all signs, and if you would like to get a forecast from me for your sun, moon, or rising sign, I do have those available on my website, and I will leave a link below in the description area underneath this video to where you can order one of those. I will be putting out June horoscopes for all the signs on my website as well. In the next week or so, I will try to have those up. So just stay posted for those. Also, this is the last week that I'm going to have a sale on natal charts and solar return charts. So if you would like me to decipher your natal chart and see what it says about your personality, I do have those discounted at almost 50% off, actually, on my website. And also solar return charts, which are from one birthday to the next. Like, that is your true year is from one birthday to the next, and your New Year's day is your birthday. So whatever's going on in the sky at that time will determine how your year is going to be, and it's like personal to you. So if you want to see how that's going to go for you, or want to know what's going on in the current year if your birthday has just passed, those are solar return charts, and those are also on sale on my website. So all the info will be below for those. Don't forget to check out the video that I did with my astro bestie Apollonia, the astrology lady. We did it on Lilith, on Black Moon Lilith in astrology. Just having a little impromptu discussion about Lilith and the role that she plays. And we're doing a workshop that's actually free to the public on May 16th. So I'll leave the information below. But if you would like to join in on the webinar/workshop and have us look at your chart and look at Lilith in your chart and give some of our personal insights, you can pay $40 to do that, and it'll be for us both, two astrologers, to go really in depth with Lilith in your chart. So check out the workshop. The web link is going to be below for that, and again, that's on May 16th. So peep it. Okay, so what's going on this week, the week of the 12th? First of all, I hope everybody had a happy Mother's Day who's a mama out there. Anybody who celebrates, I hope you guys had great celebrations and stuff. As for me, I am a mom, but I'm a single mom, so duty calls and I had to work. Yes, I worked at a lovely place though. At one of my other jobs. I have a couple of jobs besides astrology, so I did what single mamas do, and I got my hustle on and I had to work. But it was still a beautiful day though. Still very beautiful. I was exposed to beautiful scenery, and it was still a nice day. So it's all good. But I hope you guys had a good time celebrating if you celebrated. So this week, there's still some lingering energy going on between the sun in Taurus and Saturn in Capricorn. So the sun and Saturn are trined, and I think I talked about this last week, but this is still kind of hanging on through this week as well, which means that, the sun is in Taurus, it's an earth sign. Capricorn, Saturn's in Capricorn, an earth sign. And I'm sorry about this, you guys. I have a lot of computer issues. It'll just have to stay there if it comes back. Okay. But just focus on the wheel. All right. So the sun and Saturn are kind of like working together because they're in earth signs together. I mean, they're both in different earth signs, right? And the earth signs complement each other, of course. Saturn is about hard work. Saturn is about business. Saturn is about sit your booty down and stay put until your task is done, until your work is done. And so the sun is a source of power, energy, vitality for us. It's a life force. So these two working together is really good for business, really good for work, really good for standing your ground, really good for not budging if you are tempted to budge and go into a direction that may get you in some sort of trouble, for example. And this is good energy to have this week because we still have Mars in mischievous Gemini and Jupiter and even more mischievous Sagittarius. So these are opposing each other, and I've already talked about this in the weeks before. And what they're doing is Mars is action and Jupiter is jumping forward leaping towards your goals. It's having full faith and belief in your goals. And so this is action. So this energy, it's not all that mischievous. It's not all bad. I just like to crack a little joke here and there, but this energy, in mutable signs, it can be quite changeable. It can be, not always, the most practical. It's just, these two energies, when they work together, they're just like, wee, let's just do it. So I already talked about this in previous weeks, but this is still kind of hanging on too. But at the same time, we have all this grounding energy, Sun and Saturn, which is like, no, we mustn't do that, my child. And both Gemini and Sag are very childlike and fun-loving signs. And yeah, like I said, mischievous. Like, if you know Geminis and Sagittarius personally, they're two of the top signs that really love to joke around. They have, at least I consider them to have, really great senses of humor. They actually can take jokes, and they're all about kind of playing pranks and stuff. So very fun energy, but not the most quote unquote responsible when it comes to the practical world. So we do have a mixture of both. So it's kind of like work hard, play hard energy this week is still kind of hanging out, at least in the first half of the week. But yeah, the Sun trine Saturn, this is like a really stable, steady energy. So some people may be this is good for people, especially who are involved in business and work and goals and all that stuff. Like, this can have you thinking about the long term when it comes to anything. Actually, it mostly, like, it depends on where the earth signs are in your natal chart. Like, do they affect, are they in the houses of relationships or your personal life, your emotional self, your business, communication? Wherever it's at is where you can be the most, like, stern and sturdy and steady, and all those words that kind of are, mean those similar things. Like, you just kind of plow along, and it doesn't matter if it's like slow but sure. You're willing to do it. It doesn't matter if the mountain you're looking at is like super hard to climb. You are going to climb up that mountain. So that is a really good energy to tap into. However, it can make some people a little more rigid, especially if you are a Saturnian person by nature, meaning you are a Capricorn, or you have Saturn somewhere very prominent in your natal chart that's like, Saturn conjunct the sun, or Saturn in your first house. Like, you're already you embody the energy of Saturn, meaning you're already someone who is very serious about life and goals and business and accountability and, being very steady with things. This is an energy that's really good for you, but it can bring more of that out. It can bring more of the good qualities. So you'll be like, okay, I'm super focused this week. I'm not letting this little court jester energy here sway me. Okay, I'm still going to stay focused on my goals and what I have to do. If you are not Saturnian in nature, this can be very grounding for you, so that you are, more focused, and like, okay, this energy could be very easily distracting for fellow mutable signs, for example. But then this energy is like, okay, I'm not going to be too silly and goofy with it. I'm going to also stay very, like, serious where I need to be and work. But sometimes this can have people acting a little too rigid in nature as well. But yeah, this is kind of like mean what you say and say what you mean type of energy. So just keep in mind that this is overall, this is general. So a lot of people may be feeling this way and having expectations like this out of you, like say what you mean and mean what you say. Or this can mean that you are like that. You're tapping more into that energy. So, every transit has its lower and higher vibrations. I don't want to say good and bad, because that's like too simple. But yeah, it has its higher and lower vibrations. It's your choice which ones you choose to tap into. So what else is still going on? Okay, well, the sun is in a trine aspect to Pluto, and this is actually exact on the 14th of May. On the 14th of May, the sun trine Pluto. So the sun is 23 degrees of Taurus. Pluto is 23 degrees of Capricorn. And yeah, I'm on Pacific time. So this is probably like either super early in the morning on the 14th, or maybe like late at night on the, yeah, I would say because what I'm looking at, guys, is I'm looking at this 23 degrees. Yeah, but what's the secondary degree? Or I don't know what it's officially called, but it's like 23.4 degrees, you know? So I'm trying to be like super exact and nerdy. So it could be like super early in the morning, you know, the western part of the world, or just like really late at night on the 13th of May. Okay, so, and on the eastern part, it's just on the 14th, pretty much. Yeah, let's just say that. Okay, so the sun and Pluto in an aspect to one another. What does that mean? You know what, you guys? Actually, there's like a lot of Pluto energy. I'm finding that there's like a lot of Pluto themes this week. Pluto and Earth, Scorpio and Taurus. There's a lot of that this week, and I think that's what's dominating, but also there's still a dash of like a little bit of the crazy, a little bit of the outside of the box stuff, and I'll explain why. But this is actually just overall for all of us a really good week to just get a lot of stuff done, especially if there's been stuff that's hanging around, you know, if you felt like stagnant in any type of way. Pluto's energy is about like really moving things, you feeling really moved in a way that transforms you, you know. And it's kind of like about digging out things too from beneath the surface, like way deep beneath the surface, uncovering things, uncovering secrets. And ooh, that kind of reminds me, like uncovering secrets, scandals, and being held accountable, and things revolving around power. Oh yeah. I don't know if I think some of my followers are also followers of like the beauty community here on YouTube, aka all the channels that do makeup and beauty videos. And there are people who are big names on those platforms that are like, you know, they get into trouble, and since they have such a large following, it becomes like a really big deal. Even like news, like major news publications start covering it. And so there's a beauty YouTuber named James Charles, and he is only 19, about to be 20, like very soon, I think. And he's getting into a lot of trouble. Like people are coming out and uncovering all kinds of truths and secrets and all this stuff about him. I'm like, dang. So if I have the time, you guys, maybe I might do a little something on that if I have the time. But you know, I do have a sale going on. I have other jobs, so I don't know if I will. But all I can say about Mr. James Charles is this conjunction right here along with the South Node is probably something that is bringing a lot of those things to light, because Pluto, it does rule sexuality and stuff, and themes of like rape or allegations of like people being a predator in a way, trying to prey upon people in that way. And then Saturn is about power as well, like your own personal power, domineering and dominating and stuff is a lower vibration of Saturn, and using your own power over people, like to threaten them in that Harvey Weinstein type of a way. Harvey Weinstein is a Capricorn moon, and you know, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So, you know, I'm getting kind of those vibes from what people are saying in this situation with him, that you know, he was using his power which is Saturn, to try to dominate in a very like, you know, sexual way, which is Pluto. So and then the South Node is karma, Saturn is karma. Yeah, so I think that's part of it. You know, why all this stuff is coming to light. And we may see other people who are looked at as quote unquote leaders in our society. That can mean influencers, anybody that waves and masses of people look up to in a certain way. The Capricorn rules that, like if someone's in a position of power. So these energies together could be bringing down of stuff of people, like that in those ways. But anyhow, I digress. So, but this energy this week, there's a lot of Earth, there's a lot of Pluto. So unearthing things, transforming things, transmuting things into new, regenerating them, rising from the ashes. You know, a lot of that is a heavy theme this current week. So anyway, the sun in a trine aspect to Pluto is bringing out, uncovering things. The sun illuminates, and then Pluto is hidden. It wants to cover its eyes. You know, it's like people that wear the sunglasses all the time. They wear their lokes, you know, they wear their doggers, whatever you call them, wherever you're at, your shades, whatever. That's Pluto energy. And it's because the eyes are the window to the soul, the deepest part of yourself. And, you know, it's about hiding your vulnerable side and protecting it. And so Pluto is being illuminated by the sun, but these two energies are working together. So it can be about personal empowerment. The sun still kind of like, you know, getting energy from both of these planets actually this week is about some sort of like self-empowerment, plowing through, pushing through. I can tell you Taurus energy. I can tell you personally as somebody who has Sun, Mars, Venus, Mercury, and Chiron all sandwiched together in Taurus. That Taurus energy is about plowing through situations with a straight face and just doing your duty, you know, and maybe things may get to you and they may boil underneath the surface and you'll become a raging bull in a china shop, like that old school saying, after a long time. But it takes a long time for things to really, really hit you and get to you, you know? So until then, you'll troop it out. Trooping it out, oh my God, let me tell you, that's like an earth sign thing, man. That's like one of our life themes is trooping it out. Taurus, especially, Capricorns are like that. Virgo can be like that too. They're very much about their duty and service. So it's like, no matter what it takes, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to do this. That's what earth energy is. So these energies working together is actually very positive. Sun, trine, Pluto, they can, you know, a trine is a positive aspect, but it's still these energies receiving, it's still these planets receiving beams of energy between each other. Sometimes trines can be something that opens the door to something, whether it's positive or negative, to be honest. This energy can have people obsessing a little bit over some stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. There's healthy levels of obsession. Like if you are obsessive about completing projects or tasks, stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, maybe people can be obsessive over other people or, you know, just not the right things. So try not to tap into that. And also this energy can make someone paranoid and fearful. Both Pluto and Saturn together can rule like paranoia and fear, and just letting those things hold you back in life and holding you back and being rigid because it's in Capricorn. When really maybe these energies are like, woo, come on, let's just do it. Let's jump. And maybe there are some things that come up that you should just jump after those opportunities, because it could be something that is fun, that is exciting, adventurous, and maybe you might need that in your life. But tapping too much into this energy can make you like, no, I mustn't go there. Let me stay in my lane and just kind of do my duty and, you know, troop it out and plug along and block out anything that could be like exciting in my life. So it can go either way. You guys. But okay, on the 15th, Venus moves into Taurus. Yes, I'm excited about this energy. Are you guys? Let me know, because Venus, I mean, not only because it's my own Venus sign, but because Venus is at home in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is one of the signs that are ruled by Venus. So it's like at home. It's Venus rules Libra and Taurus. So when it's in those signs, it's at home. And it works, it does its best, you know. So, okay, let's say like around between 2:30 and 3 a.m. Pacific time, May 15th. So really early in the morning, May 15th, or, you know, like later in the day or in the afternoon on the 15th, if you're on the eastern part of the world, is when Venus goes into Taurus. This is beautiful energy. So usually Venus in Taurus is very steady, very like, you know, Venus rules beauty and love and how beautiful we think we are, and just how we view the world, like beautiful scenery and stuff, and all the things that we enjoy as humans in our in our physical world. That is Venus. And so when she's in Taurus, usually she's like, okay, I know what I like, I know what I want, and I'm going to stick with that. It's about being comfortable. It's about being stable. And normally that's how Venus acts in Taurus. And she doesn't really budge very much. It takes a lot for Venus in Taurus to budge if anyone tries to sway her away. But we have Uranus now in Taurus, and we have Uranus in Taurus until 2026. So anytime there's transits through Taurus, normally they're going to be, like I said, just kind of want things to stay the same because they're comfortable and secure in that, not really move too much at all, and very stubborn, you know. But when any of these planets come in contact with Uranus, Uranus is about change, like drastic change, sporadic change, unexpected, like whoa, like it flashed like lightning, like you never know where lightning's going to strike, you know that saying, right? Well, that's what Uranus rules. It literally rules lightning. So that's kind of how things can happen in your life when Uranus is involved. So then when Venus comes into contact with Uranus, okay, so this is what we can expect, you guys. So first of all, with beauty and style and fashion and stuff, Taurus is an earth sign, and it's usually very earthy with its like colors. If you notice my posts on Instagram, when I post anything that has like illustrations, they are usually like colors that go along with the energies of the signs. And Taurus energy, I would say any colors that you find naturally within the earth. You can find any color, right? Except like neons and all that crazy stuff. So pretty much any color of the earth. But I find like, yeah, some shades of brown, turquoise. I notice that Taurus people, we love turquoise. Not just me as a Taurus, but I've observed other Taurus people, especially Taurus women, and they like to wear jewelry that's like silver with turquoise, you know, and like stuff like that, that's of the earth. Like a peach tone color, because Venus energy, Venus itself, the planet it's got peachy tones in it. And also like some pink tones, like a salmon pink or like a peachy pink. Yeah, that's like a very Taurus color too. And maybe a little bit of greens and stuff, you know, for the earth. So you'll notice those colors will come out. Browns, neutrals, copper eye nude lip. That copper eye nude lip look. Very natural with makeup and stuff. Yeah, that's very Taurian in nature. So we'll see that style. But first, Venus encounters Uranus. Uranus is about neon colors, being very forward, fashion forward, very different, very unique. So you'll see at first people rocking the neons, wearing stuff that's a little bit out there. Even Tauruses, you'll see Tauruses say, hey, look, I got a new haircut. I got a new, you know, piece of clothing or a jacket or something, and it'll be like totally outside of their nature, which is usually, yeah, I wear the same thing all the time, I stick to it. It'll be something different, and they'll be rocking it like, what? Yeah, this is me, this is who I am. So we may see that at first, you know, as Venus steps into Taurus. She'll go through a period of time of whatever, I do what I want, I wear what I want, being a little rebellious, you know. Now when it comes to relationships and stuff, I'll speak on that when I talk about, I'm trying to go in date order, you guys, so I don't want to go off on a tangent with Venus conjunct Uranus. But as soon as Venus steps into Taurus, technically it's in a conjunction with Uranus, right? It's very strongly receiving lightning bolts and, you know, magnetism from Uranus. But Venus will be in the sign of Taurus from May 15th until June 8th. Yeah. So we have like almost a month of Venus in the sign of Taurus. Also on the 15th, this is when Mars, which is what we put our energy towards, like that could be physically, that could mean just actions that we perform in any type of way. It goes into the sign of Cancer. Okay, Mars goes into the sign of Cancer. Let's see. Yeah, so it's probably like later in the day if you're on the western part of the world, and if you're in the east, it's probably actually technically the 16th that Mars goes into Cancer. Yeah, it's probably the 6th. Yeah, it's the 16th, like East Coast US time and beyond. Okay, like beyond Eastern, like east of the US. Okay, so Mars goes into Cancer. So what does this mean? Mars in Cancer. Now Mars is usually it's action, right? it rules the sign of Aries, which is very like rawr, like, you know, the casual like fighting spirit, man, masculine macho energy. The classic macho energy is Mars, pushing forward and saying, no, this is what I want, and like, you know, the fighting spirit, that is Mars. When it's in Cancer, Cancer's water energy, it's feminine, it's nurturing, it's maternal. So it doesn't really do well. That's why we say it doesn't do well in the sign of Cancer, because Cancer is very passive aggressive. Now, don't get it twisted though, because there's a lot of Cancers that they are very protective. That's why they got the shell, right? They got their little pinchers and stuff. They're very protective when it comes to theirs, that they hold near and dear to their heart. That's usually their children, their mothers, their family, their home in general, what brings them comfort and security, you know, or if you are included in their family, quote unquote, that doesn't necessarily always have to mean blood relation. Like if they care about you and they've brought you into their shell and they nurture you and they take care of you, that's what they consider, you'll be one of those people that they protect and they stand up for fiercely. So Mars in Cancer, that energy is going to be really good for that. Okay, protective over who and what is yours that you care about, protective over your house. But the reason why they say Mars doesn't do well in Cancer is with being assertive and aggressive, with like being direct. It's not direct. It's a crab. Crabs walk sideways, right? They like creep. You know, they kind of creep sideways. They don't just like charge at you and say, hey, this is what's going on. You know, it's like sideways, like, oh, let me go over this way, and kind of pinch at you a little bit, and then walk away sideways. And then when you're turned around, I'll kind of pinch you, and then I'll turn around and walk away and act like that wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about, but I want you to still guess the fact that it was me that pinched you. And that's kind of how Cancer energy can act. Or it's like Mars in Cancer could be kind of like just brooding, and you taking things very personal and brooding, and then wanting someone to guess and be like, and intuitively pick up on the fact that you're mad, you know. But when Mars in Cancer, look, this is water paired with fire. Mars is fiery, hot energy, so that's boiling water. So Mars in Cancer, yo, if you get this energy mad, it's nonstop. Like, it's hard to stop it because it's emotions paired with anger, and it can be very destructive. But yes, like I said, what Mars and Cancer energy is good for is being very protective, and also maybe putting forth some, being more motivated to do things with your home, like around your home. Like, this is good for home improvement energy, to just, you want your home to be comfortable, secure, and beautiful. So you'll be putting a lot of action and energy towards that, like doing some gardening, fixing things, building things. And, you know, Mars in Cancer is really good for anything to do with homes and real estate, and, you know, working on stuff like that. So yeah, it is good for that. It's good for protecting who and what you love. But this energy does not move quickly like Mars normally likes to do. It's not direct like Mars normally is too. So that's Mars into the sign of Cancer. It'll be there until July 1st. So we have like a whole exact month and a half of Mars in Cancer. Now on the 16th, this is when Mercury is in a trine aspect to Saturn. Let's see. Yeah, they're both at that 20th degree. So Mercury trine Saturn, it could be counted as the 17th in the Western world, but in the Eastern world, but I'm in the West, so it's the 16th, 16th, 17th of May. Mercury trine Saturn. Now Mercury is catching up to the sun, and Mercury's communication, it's being chatty, it's a lot of speech, lots of communication is Mercury. And the sun is like, you know, it's our will, it's our ego, it's, you know, like I said, it's our life force, it's energy. So it's masculine, very masculine energy, like wants to be the light, wants to influence people, to inspire, and all of that stuff, right? So anyway, Mercury and the sun together is like, Mercury is like speeding up, and I don't know, it's like our minds are moving a lot quicker when the sun and Mercury are together. It's kind of like a Gemini energy, but it's not in the sign of Gemini. I have sun conjunct Mercury in my natal chart, and so, but I have other planets that surround it that kind of like calm it down. But I can tell you, I can recognize other sun conjunct Mercury people in their personality, even without looking at their chart. It's either they're a Gemini or they have sun conjunct Mercury. Like, I can tell because of the way that they talk and they think, and this energy could be very fun. Mercury can be very mischievous and bouncy and, you know, witty and kind of court jester type of energy, playing pranks and having a sense of humor. So maybe with the sun conjunct Mercury, it's like that energy is beamed down upon us a little bit more than usual. But this is in the sign of Taurus, which is, once again, like very much more calm, relaxed. It's about Taurus energy. It rules our money. It rules how we earn our money, rules our resources. So these energies together are like having more of a focus and a concentration there. Now, talking about Mercury trine Saturn, to be exact, this is the mind being anchored down, though. It's anchored down into this grounding earthy energy that's like, okay, long term. I'm thinking about the long term plans and goals and how to get there. And it does make you stay more focused than usual. And the fact that Mars has now moved out of Gemini and it's still kind of opposing Jupiter, but it's like it's separated now from that direct opposition. So it's not so much like, let's just jump and do stuff, guys. It's less like that. So now it's like, okay, it's like we're really focusing in on goals and stuff. And oh, you know what? This reminds me, I forgot to mention that I do have a workshop that I'm doing this week on the asteroid Lilith, Black Moon Lilith, to be exact. And it's actually on the 16th. Mercury can be about teaching, speech, communication, and Saturn is about also like teaching, teaching lessons and stuff. So Mercury and Saturn working together is excellent for learning, for sitting down and teaching and saying, here's a teachable moment here, and like showing someone step by step what they did wrong and how they can do it better. Like that energy is going to come out. So if you are somebody who's more like on the Mercury side, maybe you're younger, more youthful, and you're dealing with Saturnian people who are more authoritative or elders, they may get on your nerves, but you will still be willing to listen to them. They will be like, this is what it reminds me of when I worked at my last corporate job and I had a Capricorn. I had 2 Capricorn bosses, ex-military. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh my God, they got on my nerves. But anyway, because I just asked the lady, one of the Capricorns, I asked her a simple question. Hey, this happened, this and this. I give her a bunch of details. What do I do to fix it? Instead of just saying over the phone, oh, all you do is this, this, and this. Oh, okay, thank you, goodbye. She'd say, oh, come over to my desk. I'd have to trail over to her desk. Here's me, Mercury and Taurus, trailing over to the Capricorn's desk. Okay, yes, I'm here. She'd slowly but surely open up the program and then do this, enter in her information to open up the program and then show me, okay, so what did you do? Let's go through it. Let's walk through this situation. And I'm like, oh my God. All you gotta do is say like 2 or 3 words, lady. Like, is this necessary? This is excruciating. So that's what Mercury and Saturn working together. Some people may get annoyed by it because some people will be tapping into this in that way. Like, this is a teachable moment. Let me show you step by step. Okay. And some of us don't want to hear it. We're just like, oh. So anyway, it can go either way, or you can just go with the flow and be like, okay, cool. Like, I do want to see how things are done step by step in order for me to properly absorb the information and retain it and save it and, practice it until I get this thing right. And so maybe I don't make a mistake again. So a lot of things around accountability are going to come up. This is another one of those say what you mean and mean what you say type of transit, especially because Mercury's involved. Mercury is saying, it's talking, speech, communication. So yeah, excellent for going through your finances, for getting things in order. But yeah, people are going to be a lot more Saturnian this week. than usual, meaning they're going to be more like, okay, well, don't forget to blah blah blah, even if you don't want to hear it because you don't think you need to. People are going to be tapping into that. You may tap into that yourself. It depends on who you are out there. Okay, so that's Mercury trine Saturn on the 16th. Now, this is getting really long, but there is so much going on this week, and Mercury is exactly conjunct my Mercury today in Taurus, so I am talking a lot, so forgive me for that. Okay, now on the 18th, oh my gosh, okay. So first of all, let's talk about this full moon. Let's talk about the full moon in Scorpio. Dun, dun, dun. Everybody thinks like, you know what I've noticed a few years ago, over the last few years, there'll be some posts about the full moon in Scorpio. And we have a full moon in Scorpio every single year. And it's like they make it a big deal. You know how, I don't know how they name the full moons every month. I'm sure it comes from some legitimate ancient like technique or something. But they name the full moons every month, right? And it's like some people will post it's like a full red moon in Scorpio, this picture of this big red scary moon, and it's in Scorpio, which is creepy and scary with all these bats around the moon, like scaring the crap out of everyone, like, oh my god, the full moon in Scorpio is coming. And it's like, yo, we have one every year. Okay, I'm sure you experience a full moon in Scorpio every year of your life before now and barely batted a dang eyelash. Okay. So it's so silly how some publications will blow things up like that. What is this full super red scary bat moon in Scorpio bringing to you? Ooh. Really, it's not all that bad, especially because look, so full moon, it includes the sun, right? Sun and moon opposing each other in opposite signs. That's why we see the moon. It's actually so visible and huge is because the sun is reflecting light because it's opposing it, right? So this is sun in Taurus and Mercury is involved. So that means there should be a lot of communication, which is good because Scorpio moon energy is very internal. It internalizes a lot of things. It's about secrets. It's about holding information in, holding in feelings until you can no longer. And, all the water signs can be very guilty of just not even verbalizing their feelings properly and expecting other people just to know what they feel. And if they don't, they get all offended. So this is good that Mercury is in the mix here with this full moon. So that way some things could be properly communicated about, right? So, yes, full moon, 27 degrees of Scorpio. The good thing is it's making a good aspect to Pluto, one of the ruling planets of Scorpio is making a great aspect to it. So, the moon has a good relationship with Pluto here. So that means like, it's positive, like it'll bring things to the surface, which full moons tend to do a lot of times. And with Pluto involved, it is like digging some things out. But it's not going to be all scary and all bad. And of course, it depends on where this lands in your natal chart, if it lands on any planets of yours and yada, yada, yada. But, and once again, I have monthly horoscopes available on my website if you want to see how it affects you, just at least by your sign. So yeah, Moon and Pluto are working together to uncover some things, uncover some truths. Some secrets can be revealed if I want to be clickbaitish. This is one of those full moons where, yes, secrets can be revealed. So, and it could be some things that it's just like, wow, I didn't expect that. But okay. So full moon in Scorpio. Now, this is on the axis of Taurus and Scorpio, which do rule several things in our lives. One of the things it rules is our relationships with money, with currency, with being taken care of or caring for others, like supporting ourselves or being supported by others. And that's in our material world. Scorpio energy can be about quote unquote other people's money or receiving support from some other resources, or that means people, corporations, whatever. Like, for example, if you receive money from the government, money from insurance, money from like alimony or child support that's or like if you're a beneficiary to something that's owed to you, that's what Scorpio deals with. Scorpio can also deal with codependency, like people who tend to always rely on others, like, hey, can I borrow this? Hey, can I borrow some money? Hey, can I crash on your couch and like, you know, not have to like pay for anything, and or having a sugar daddy or sugar mama. That's all Scorpio rules, that stuff. And then on the opposite end is Taurus, which is about self-sufficiency and being in relying on yourself in order to take care of yourself and gather in your own resources, pay your own bills. And I know some people will take offense to that, be like, well, I'm a Scorpio and I pay my own bills. I'm talking about the symbolism of the signs itself, okay? Not you as an individual who's made up of a whole freaking zodiac, so don't even start, okay? So the sun and Mercury and Taurus is about like, how can we gather some resources for ourselves? How can we sustain them for ourselves? How can we make things last a long time? You know, preserve, conserve. That's what Taurus energy is about. And then the Scorpio aspect is like, how can we do that, but still, you know, be able to work with others with their resources too, and combining those energies. So that's like a generalization of it. But yeah, Scorpio energy is water. It's emotional. It's very deeply emotional. So, don't be surprised if people are like super emo on this full moon. I'm talking about like the goth emo, like you, you just want to hide in a black hoodie in a corner somewhere and just, you know, listen to some super emo music, or like some emo bands, or maybe even like The Weeknd, listen to The Weeknd, his music, or, you know, some really dark stuff, and just be like, oh my god, my life. But yeah, if you feel like that, just know that it'll pass. It's just a full moon. But anyhow, so that's a full moon in Scorpio. It's really hard for me to say like how it affects everybody, because I'm like, it's different based on your chart and your sign. But now let's talk about Mercury is going to be trine Pluto on that day too. Mercury trine Pluto on the 18th. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go back. Mercury, where's Mercury at? Yeah, so Mercury is trine Pluto on the 17th and the 18th. So what that means is, you know, Mercury, I explained Mercury working with Saturn. Mercury's going to be trine to Pluto, which is like having a lot of concentration to do things, zoning in on things, really zoning in on stuff, and having laser sharp focus. You see your target, whatever it is, whether it's if it's a person, if it's a task, if it is an object that you really want, if whatever it is, you will have like a lot of like, I want this, and it feels life or death that I want this, and so I'm going to use all my mental power to like do what I can to manifest this. Or Mercury trine Pluto could be conversations about, like, once again, uncovering things that were once hidden, that were secret. It can have people very obsessive in nature. Even though this is a trine, it's a great aspect, but still it can bring out a little obsession with anything. And this is also about research. This is going to be a week, you guys, where people can't get away with any like silly nonsense when it comes to communication and information. People are going to be like, you need to cite your sources, okay? You need to tell me where this info came from. You can't just say, oh, I heard it from so-and-so. No. What is your source? Okay, what is your reference? So people are going to be checking the facts. If people don't give them the facts, they're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to go research it for myself. So that's what Mercury and Pluto trined can do. It can bring out in some people, even though, like I said, this is a happy, it's a great aspect, positive. Some people may kind of go to like the stalker side of it all with Pluto, and be very curious and like researching people, and like really down to the core, like looking at every single post, every picture, every share, everything of theirs, like obsessing over like having a curiosity, but it makes you a little obsessive, to where you're constantly just like, I really want to get to the bottom of who this person is. Pluto, it rules psychology too, like digging way deep beneath the surface, when it comes to the human mind, the human psyche, going to the very back of it, and like what's back there and what makes people tick. So this is a good aspect for if you have to do research, or if you're if you work in psychology, or if you're just trying to figure someone or something out and be very practical about it and very real, the energy is really good for that this week, especially around the 18th, 17th, 18th. Okay, also on the 18th, this is when Venus comes into a conjunction with Uranus. It is exact, like on the west coast of the US, it's early in the morning. Oh yeah, it's like early, it's like in the morning, West Coast US time. It's afternoon to evening east of that, anything east of that. So Venus and Uranus, like I talked about earlier, with fashion and stuff, it's a little different. You could be wearing like one long earring, one stud earring, you know, and be like, what? You could wear like just like one long sock and one ankle sock, or no sock on the other foot, and be like, hey, this is just, I just came up with this today and who cares? Okay, this is what I feel like wearing. I'm gonna rock this. So it could be very, with fashion and stuff, you'll see people just rock some crazy stuff. Not too crazy, because Taurus, like I said, it's very just down to earth. But you may see Tauruses do a little bit of wacky stuff around the 18th, especially on the 18th, because number one, there's a full moon that includes the sun and Mercury in our sign. Number two, Venus and Uranus conjunct in our sign. So we may kind of just be a little bit out there on that day and just not caring and really expressing how we feel, and, you know, just more vocal than usual, more expressive with what we wear, and with, you know, with a lot of different things. Now, Venus and Uranus together, how this affects everybody, besides the fashion and style and weirdness with that a little bit, going outside the norm. This could be impulse shopping, because Venus is what we enjoy in our material world. It's money. It's how we spend it, what we spend it on. So it could be impulse shopping, just buying something randomly, like, oh, I've never tried this before, let me try it. Venus rules food and beverages that we really find to be really tasty, right? So it's like wanting to taste new things. Venus and Uranus together could be, yeah, just suddenly buying something out of nowhere. It could be suddenly receiving money from out of nowhere. Hopefully for some of you guys, just flashes of money that flies down from the sky. No, I'm just kidding. Or it might be, yeah, you just receive a surprise material thing some kind of way. Venus and Uranus, yeah, this could be surprises when it comes to love. This could be people craving a little something different. Even if you are someone who has, say, for example, Taurus energy tends to stick around in relationships for a lot longer than they should a lot of times, because they value, it's about value, right? They value that relationship. They value the longevity of it, and they find it comfortable and secure to stay with the same person for years, and, you know, be able to brag the fact that they've stayed the same forever, right? Well, this weekend, some Tauruses, especially in Scorpios, maybe kind of reconsidering some things relationship wise. Maybe it could be a wild weekend for some of you guys, even if you are in a relationship. I'm just saying, some of you guys can get kind of tempted on the 18th and be like, you know what? Or this could be some people suddenly breaking up. Uranus can do that. Venus is relationships. Uranus is, you know, suddenly like receiving a jolt that can be a separating lightning bolt. You know how lightning, if it strikes somewhere significant on the earth, it can actually like put a crack in the earth, or, you know, in a house or building or something. It can do that with a foundation in a relationship too, especially a very grounded earthy one that's been sitting around stagnant and stale forever. Yeah, this could be a weekend of some people actually breaking things off, to be honest. This could be sudden meeting of people too. It could be the opposite. Like you suddenly meet somebody, you're like, zzz, like, whoa, where have you been? Where did you come from? How come I've never met you before? How come I haven't seen you before? Or just wanting some excitement within relationships. It doesn't always have to be breakups. It could be just like you stick with that same person, but you want something new and different with them. Like, let's go out to this new place. Let's do something different for once. So this can be someone who's single, maybe, yeah, meeting someone new, meeting a couple of someone, some new people. And just wanting variety. But you know what, I'll give a warning, as quickly as things can start up and spark up with Uranian transits like this is as quickly as they can burn out. Trust me, as a Taurus/Scorpio, I've already experienced this and it's crazy. And I think the lesson with it being in Taurus is Taurus energy can stay stale and stagnant and hang on for way too long. And when we get a Uranus transit like this, it does teach a hard lesson about that things change. Things change in life. They can change rapidly. They're not always going to stay the same. And you can't always sit there and just be comfortable with that and then get so upset when things happen to just change suddenly and just sit there and dwell on that. You have to get up and you have to adjust. You have to go with the flow and be like, okay, this is what happens. I cannot hang on dearly to everything and everyone in life because there may be separations, but that's okay. So that's like a really big general Uranus and Taurus lesson. But when we have planets cross it, it can really come to the forefront, you know, no matter what sign you are, actually. So yeah, that's what's going on this week. This is probably a bit longer of a video. I don't see what time it is when I'm doing these, so I could just be in the flow. But it's because the 18th is just packed with like a lot of crazy energy. And I don't mean crazy like you should run because it's the end of the world and hide and, you know, be scared and paranoid. I mean, like, it's amazing. It's still amazing how divine timing works. But I'm just saying there's a lot of energy in the air that's like, ooh, there's a lot going on, especially if you're a Scorpio or Taurus. You may want to order one of my forecasts that are on my website for your sign and see how this affects you. I go through in a little bit more detail there. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching this. Don't forget, I have a sale on natal charts and solar returns up until only the 21st of May. I have May horoscopes out on my website. I will have them through this week, maybe next week, and then I'm going to switch to June. And then also I have a workshop this week on the 16th of May with my partner in crime, Apollonia, the astrology lady. We're going to be talking about Lilith. So if you want to learn about Black Moon Lilith, especially if you're a female, but even if you're a guy too, this is important stuff for you to know. It's on the 16th. It's actually free, but if you want us to read your chart and tell you how Lilith affects you, then that's where there is a fee. It's only $40 for 2 astrologers to go way deep in detail into your chart live. Okay, so you may not want to miss that. So all the information will be below for everything, you guys. Have a great week. Take care. And I will see you guys next time I'm around. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram also under @CosmicHomegirl. I'm also on Twitter sometimes under @CosmicHomegirl too. And I'm also on Instant Go, where that's an app where you can actually pay me just a small fee to ask like one little question about your chart or a situation. I do that for a very small fee on Instant Go. So if you don't really care to have a full-on reading with me, like an audio recording and have to wait for it, because that's like the most popular option that I do, you can hit me up on Instant Go and I'll get back to you within like a day or two with your the answer to your question. So Instant Go, it's an app. And you can find me on there too under Cosmic Homegirl. So I will see you guys next time. Peace.